Are you gonna watch Star Wars Rebels?
Nope.
Hey, when did you finish Clone Wars? You never know.
Hello and welcome. My name is Alex Gonzalez, and with me today is my good old friend, J.E.
Hey, that's me.
And please remember that we are not game devs. How are you doing today, Jay?
I'm doing all right. I mean,
As
really,
good as you can be in December.
right? If I'm gonna be completely honest, I just want to play more PlayStation, dude.
All right. But those are not the consoles that we are talking about today. Today we are creating something new. Every week, we are not game devs. We'll create a new exciting video game idea that we have always wanted to play, but do not have any knowledge or know how to create the wonderful experience that are video games. And today is my turn to present We Are Not Game Devs 132nd IP. So this is it. I want to create a game where you're the devil and you're creating a hell for little Sims. So imagine a roller coaster tycoon style game, but you're running hell. So you're trying to get the most despair, the most fear, and everything out of that. So you're going to have upgradable demons, upgradable different torture devices, attractions that you're going to put in to create just a hellscape. And you're going to have different levels where you can create more hellscapes and go from there. And that's my idea.
That
Mwahaha.
is pretty awesome.
Yeah, you guys thought about Alex you guys thought about Alex games, huh?
Yeah.
Well, here you go.
No, I definitely dig it. First
After
of all,
platinuming Bug Snacks, I'm going all the way to the other side.
it does. I feel like this game definitely needs like a crazy sense of humor where it's just satire over the
Yes.
top, like just sarcasm and just like I think like British humor, like just like fucking observational.
I just love that the humor in hell is British.
Yeah. That's maybe there'll be a joke about that. This game, we'll skip ahead to name
That's
this
the
game.
humor that deserves to go
This
to
game
hell.
is called British Hell. Yeah, I think it definitely has to be super fun. I think like of Satan in South Park, like that whole character and all, like him being gay.
There's going to
and-
be a funny aspect to it.
yeah.
And I think we could do something where it's like little characters like that, where we're not going to exactly rip off The Sims, but we're going to have characters that are downscaled because we need a lot of them on screen at once. And we're going to want a kind of devil's eye view to see it,
mhm.
you know, as we're managing different stuff and putting different characters together.
Couple questions here. Do you want it to be more like Sims or do you want it to be more like a tycoon game where in The Sims let's say you start as a freshly brought
Like a tycoon game.
person.
We're
to hell.
handling multiple souls at once.
Okay, I see. So you don't want to be like, I'm a new freshly being in hell and you have to build your life in
we're
hell.
the devil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or rather, you're the devil's
Demon or
real
something. And
estate
you're trying to
or
create
something.
exactly. And
Yeah.
you're trying to create a new hellscape. You could be maybe like a lieutenant or a subordinate, and this is like your first time to really get it done right and really torture people.
Right.
You could even have I like the humor aspect. I like souls maybe talking back. It would even be funny if they had jokes like this isn't as bad as my second divorce, as like they go through
Okay.
torture or whatever.
All that being said, this is the story of the game. So hell has been Lucifer or Satan has been slacking off in the modern era. He's been on his cell phone too much, been surfing the social medias, and he's been slacking off on his
How
responsibilities.
funny would it be if it shows him on his iPhone in a close-up and he's scrolling and it zooms out and every demon and every soul that's supposed to be being tortured is also just scrolling. Like they're all on their phones,
Yeah. And
like being distracted.
I would also say that like hell doesn't look that bad. Like it looks pretty cool, and like there's people like kind of loose and
it's a
hanging
little
out.
annoying.
Yeah.
That's what everyone just says. It could be better.
And then so hell's been in decline, and then like let's say God's like, hey, Satan, go whip shit up here. People aren't that scared of hell anymore. They're doing shit on Earth that like is not that crazy because they're not scared anymore. So you got to whip this place back into shape. And so the whole game is you trying to whip hell back into shape and bring in new like modernize hell to make it scarier and uh full of despair even more than before. And so you have to renovate hell, right? And you have your assistant buddy who you are in the game. You are the assistant, and Satan's telling you to do all this shit, and you manage hell for him. And then, yeah, you just add. There's two.
And it's going to be scalable. So there's going to be different torture rooms that you can use. For instance, the first one's going to be everyone is in socks and they have to walk through puddles. And you'll just hear different lines come out as people are like, this is horrible.
Yeah,
I hate this feeling.
we'll have it so like bathrooms, you have to put a couple in, but you have to like put them in like very hard to reach places. Um,
And somehow another one, there's just dog shit everywhere. That's a low one. So people keep stepping in it. And
there's
they're just really
there's beer
upset.
stands, but all of them are non-alcoholic.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, and then on top of it, cash only.
Yeah.
So cash only. Do you have change? No.
Okay, so
Those will be like the low level torture.
I feel like it would play like a roller coaster tycoon. So you'll have these concessions, you'll have like amenities that your guests could use, but in this case, like if they use it, maybe it's like a trap or like maybe it's a trick to like get more despair out of your patrons. And you can
Mhm.
manage all parts of hell and add bigger and bigger attractions. And maybe even at a certain point, there could be like big scale torture devices where it's essentially you building a roller coaster, but it's not a roller coaster. It's like more like a haunted mansion experience where you go through this thing where just horrible shit happens to you. And maybe to add like a element to this that is different than the basic roller coaster tycoon model is maybe we could make it so there's like a daily schedule. So every day you have to go through these events and you have to chain them in a way. Like as you put these new things in the park, you give them like, okay, this is your 5 minute bathroom break. But then you put all the bathrooms like out of 5 minutes distance or whatever like that. And like you put them on a schedule and then every day they go through the schedule. And depending on how much despair you get, you could use that despair to buy better tortures to add to that daily routine.
And different upgrades, yeah, where the sky's the limit, where maybe you start adding villains in or you program a zombie outbreak
Yeah. Instead of
or
mascots, it could be like Halloween nights at like Universal Studios where you add
mhm.
mascots that are there just to scare guests.
Yep. Or exactly. Vampires, stuff of that nature, where they'll be added in to create more despair.
Right.
All right. So I'm thinking we'll have haunted mansions. What other stuff could we do? Different torture devices, quicksand pit.
I think maybe another aspect to the game where like you could put in just to change shit up is like maybe add like an maybe like a ultimate meter, an ult quote unquote, where it's like there's 2 meters. You have your despair or whatever we're gonna call it, uh, cash flow, where you're just collecting this kind of like screams in Monsters Inc. But then you also
Mhm.
have another counter that just counts combos or extra scares. And then once you fill up this meter, you could use like a special skill, like to let's say for the quicksand, you could just add quicksand in random parts of the hell. And
So you could add it like, for instance, let's say there's clowns chasing the subjects. You can add quicksand, and then all of a sudden they get stuck in quicksand
yeah,
on top of
but
clowns.
this is kind of like a every day you get to use this once or something like that.
Oh,
You
okay.
know what I mean? Like it's like
Mhm.
because you know how in Roller Coaster Tycoon most people play at like 2 times speed or 3 times speed. Like
Yeah.
this is like maybe in your daily events or every day when you're playing or while you're playing once per day, not once per day, you build up these scares or the not scares, but like tortures throughout the day on your daily schedule that you make for them. And let's say you get like a special combo in the scares, like you made them go walk through puddles with socks on, and then right after you had them like do something with electricity, right? So it combos that torture. You
Hmm.
get bonus points that gives you like extra things where you could manually input scares around the screen, like quicksand, or then like you could replace it with lightning strikes to hit people, or like you could use like poison gas or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
something that you
you're
could,
building on top of each other. Yeah, yeah.
because I do think of this as an iPhone game, by the way. So this is like something you could just tap, kind of like an idle game where this is something you could just tap while you're playing, just to have something to do while all this background stuff
I would want
happens.
there to be a build function though, where you're building the initial torches and getting it all going, and then yeah, it would be where you watch.
Okay.
But you would want to build, you'd want to put the things in place. I'd want the torture devices to be at least
Maybe
customizable.
what it is the torture devices are more intricate. Like we'll have a torture mansion, we'll have a torture coaster, we'll have a torture, and
That's what I
then
was thinking too. Yeah, different things that you could upgrade off of and unlock
yeah, and
and
for the
purchase.
tortured mansion, quote unquote, it would be at first you could only build like a 4x4 two-story mansion, and then you could choose what's in each room, and they'll all cost different amounts of torture points or despair or whatever. And then you could upgrade your mansion and it gets bigger and bigger, and you could add more rooms and customize the rooms separately.
That's exactly where my mind was going. Different branching paths. So if you wanted to upgrade different parts, you could go down that alley and kind of do that.
Yeah. And I mean, I kind of see this playing kind of like multiple types of mobile games. I don't know if you want to go mobile, but that's just where my mind's going, where it's kind of like for building a mansion, I can imagine that being somewhat like a Fallout, whatever that game was called, New Shelter or
Fallout
whatever.
Shelter.
Yeah, Fallout Shelter, where it's like you build your own haunted mansion, and then like people could go through that and you could watch it happen in real time, or you could zoom back
Mhm.
out and it's more of like an idle game where you're managing a giant park type of thing. But then you could zoom in and it's more like a tiny tower type of deal where you manage like a hotel, and then maybe it's like maybe that's where you keep the prison cells and you manage that, and then like you zoom in and you do different things. Um, that are like either idle or like small management type of mobile games, but you all add it into one giant game. You know what I mean? Kind of like
Yeah,
how
like that.
AFK
That way you
Arenas
could.
does it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea. That way it's one big hellscape that you keep upgrading and you keep torturing souls.
Yeah, and like
No,
you
definitely.
slowly I mean I also imagine it to be free to play, so you slowly unlock these new functions where it's like, oh, you just unlocked the haunted mansion. Now you unlock this small kind of like its own game in itself, where it's like a Fallout Shelter where you manage your haunted mansion or torture mansion or whatever, and then you could buy better rooms, you could buy better like scarers and stuff just for that section, if you want to focus on that, or if you want to focus on this other part of hell, which is like the prison where everyone sleeps, you know, and then it's more of like a tiny tower situation. You can manage what's on each floor and how bad everyone's rooms are and stuff like that. Like there'll be multiple things for you to do all in this one game.
Then on top of that, a little kind of perk I want is I want there. Do you would we be able to do riffs on likenesses of celebrities that would randomly
I
appear
mean,
in
this
your
if this is
hellscape?
a mobile game, I've seen some games that yeah, they literally just have random celebrities in their
Let's
game.
do it. That way, just randomly, like a famous soul would appear. Like for me, I don't know why, but like if fucking Prince was in my hellscape, I'd be like, I have to torture. I don't want to torture
But
Prince.
I mean, how like
Okay,
other
here we
games do
go.
it though, it's like a spoof. Like it's
Or
like
like a little Hitler. Could you
yeah.
imagine torturing a little Hitler around your hellscape? Put Hitler through the mansion,
We
make it
definitely
real
have to
tough,
like for certain
and he
things.
gives bonus despair if you do it right.
Yeah, I like that where like you have like like in Tiny Tower, it would be like the VIP people, like the special people that come into hell, and then you get to manage them.
Yeah. All right. What music's playing through this? Like it has to be something like sinister, right? How now? I don't know. In music editing, I know there's a way to slow music down so anything sounds evil. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I know what you mean. Exactly what you mean.
Where you would have normal music playing and then eventually it would slow down and then speed up.
See, what I was actually imagining for this was more like elevator music, but it's all played by organs and like choirs.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So it sounds so dramatic because it has that kind of organ
Yeah, but
sound
it's
where everything kind of.
literally just light jazz, but instead of drums and like trumpet or whatever and bass, it's like a choir, like
There's one song I want to get the rights to. It can be a choir and organ and stuff. The Devil Went Down to Georgia has to be played at least once over smooth jazz with like a choir.
maybe that's what it
Like
could
you
be.
can.
It's just a bunch of covers where it's like reference to the hell,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Stairway to
Perfect.
Hell, or like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean?
No, yeah, I like that idea. This is sounding good. This is sounding real good. Now we already told with figuring out the music, we already said that the price is going to be free to play. We got that down. So Jay, get your timer ready because we're going to name this game.
Also, I want to say free to play, and then there's probably going to be like some sort of gotcha mechanic to make it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway,
maybe a store too.
go.
Welcome to Hell.
That's really good because I was going to go Hell Management. I like
I
Welcome to
think
Hell.
Welcome to Hell.
Yeah.
All right.
9 seconds.
And how many seconds? Welcome to Hell is a free to play mobile game also appearing on the Switch and the PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Yeah, kind of like Volstock Inc. or whatever that game is called.
Exactly. Where you play in a tycoon environment where you are a demon and you are subjecting different souls to hell. You have to build your own hellscape, create haunted mansions, quicksand, puddles with wet socks, and more as you torture and maximize the despair you raise out of your souls in Welcome to Hell. Well, all right, Jay. I think we have a game here. Would this be a game that you would want to play, and is it fun?
Yeah, dude, I think I would enjoy it. I would play it for a little while at least. Uh, but I don't know how long I would keep up with it. How about you?
I think this is a game where, unless you strongly recommended it to me, I would not be playing it. I think I would miss it. It would be a free to play mobile game that would just go by the wayside for me. You know, I never played Among Us. I think I played one match.
Among Us is fun.
Mobile games do not resonate with me. All right. Now that we have a complete game, what game studio would you assign to be able to make Welcome to Hell the best?
Adult Swim.
Damn, that's a good one. Adult Swim is a good one. That's how I played that unicorn game. Now
I would also
let me
say
see.
GameStop. Like they have their own development studios and stuff. Like they had that underwater one. I forget what it was called.
Now, hear me out. What if we gave this to some indie devs like Edmund McMillan and Florian Himsel, who did Binding of Isaac?
Oh, that'd be crazy. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
That would be fun if we could just have kind of like these biblical stories.
Yeah.
like there's a world we're building out that's just really gross.
And for me, I also feel like oh shoot, I had it and I just forgot it. I don't remember. I had somebody in mind and then it just left.
And I don't know anybody else I would want to do this game. Do I? No, I don't. And with that, our 132nd IP has gone gold. We hope you look forward to this experience that will probably never release. You can write to @poundgames@gmail.com if you have anything to patch into the game we created today. Also, give us feedback. We are still learning how to make this show better, and your feedback really helps. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to back our ideas, please head over to patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. Patrons receive episodes 2 days early and an extra podcast at the beginning, which you caught the tail end of our conversation at the beginning of this episode. That's patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. If you liked our show, why not subscribe and give us all the stars on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Store, Spotify, YouTube, and more if they ask for a review. Instead of reviewing our show, become your inner game critic and review Welcome to Hell, the video game we just created. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next Friday with another new IP. Again, my name is AG.
And I'm J.E.
Thank you, and please remember that we are not game devs.
It's Double
Someday,
Fine. I don't know why it took me so long to remember it's Double Fine.
I thought about suggesting them.
Yeah.
But that, like, somehow everything feels like a summer camp experience with Double Fine. I like it, but doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even like Costume Quest?
No, I mean, that's true.
They
but they did Brutal Legends and stuff like that.
They did.
Or
what a weird turn that game
who
took.
did Don't Starve? Those guys are good.
I wish we had a dedicated editor, because I want to take every one of our IPs and Kojimify it.
Yeah.
Where it's us, where it's like, produced by J.E. and Alexander Gonzalez. Created by Alexander Gonzalez and J.E. And it's like super animatized, very real-like graphics. Welcome to King of the Hill.
I like how that's the one you pull. Out of all of them, that's the one you pull. It's Clay Entertainment. KLEI.
There's too many of them. They're bullet ants. Don't you know? War always persists. We'll always be fighting some type of ant. Don't do it! He's a clone of me. See, the ants would be the perfect MGS clone. Ants fight all the time. Did you know that there's YouTube videos of ants warring with each other? There is. I guess we should stop there.